I want to explain what Movement's plan is. We are the #1 impact lender in the world. #1 impact lender in the world. So what is an impact lender? An impact lender is taking profits, half of our profits from loans that we close, and pouring that back into the communities that we serve. To date, we poured back over $400 million into the communities that we serve. That's almost $500 million. $500 million. That's not counting what we're going to do this year. We're going to write another big check at the end of the year, and we're going to celebrate that. Anyone heard of Casey Crawford, our CEO? So Casey is not a normal human. I always joke. I mean, I've met with Casey. Ryan and I have been in the room with him. We had a couple meetings with him, and he's not a normal human. Yeah, I mean, he's 6'6", blonde hair, blue eyes, no man crush. I'm just describing him.
Oh, there's a man crush.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like if Flash Gordon and Thor had a kid, that would be Casey. He started Movement Mortgage in 2008. And if you guys remember what was going on in 2008, it was not the best time to start a mortgage company. But it wasn't a normal mortgage company. It was based on a value that he had grown up with, as far as what his pastor had said and what his parents had taught him, is to love and value people. Love is a verb. You act in the long-term best interest of another. So Casey, being Casey, started a company, and won't go into the details about how that ride was, but it was a bumpy ride, probably much like what we're experiencing right now. A lot of change, a lot of turmoil, but the vision was bigger than really what he was feeling, right? It was bigger than the Banks of America, the Chases, the Wells, that can do an amazing job doing a loan and closing a loan for someone. It was taking profits, almost $500 million, and pouring it back into the community. And what that looks like, I'm a visual person, so Chris, if you could start the video. We build schools, charter schools, tuition-free charter schools for underserved communities.
So when I think about our school, our mission is to ensure that every single scholar and every single person that comes into our building feels known, seen, and loved.
At Movement Schools, we exist to love and value people and serve a high-quality education. But at Movement Schools, we also care about our curriculum, looking and reflecting the students that we serve, that they read books with characters that look like them. At Movement Schools, we believe in having a rigorous education that is more than just regurgitating facts and information. Instead, we focus on being critical thinkers. We focus on analyzing. We focus on deep questioning so that they become adults that analyze and critically think about everything that's happening around them. That is the work that we do here.
So we have 4 schools. We have 3 pre-K, and this year Casey pledged to build 100 schools in the next decade. And we can't do that without your help. When we talk about the #1 impact lender in the world, you guys are very much part of that. You're part of that success. You got to understand, these kids on average were moving 2.5 times a year. They were on Uncle's couch one day, living in the car the next, and Casey said enough. We had to stabilize it. We stabilize our community through housing. We help people achieve the goal and the dream of home ownership, easy for me to say. Part of that, though, is also giving back and helping these kids have a foundation that they can grow from. If you look at education and where kids fail and where we're failing our kids, 3rd grade level is kind of that point. If you don't make it past the 3rd grade level, which many of these kids weren't, that was the termination of incarceration and poverty, and we're changing that. First day of school, when they opened the first one, again, Casey's 6'6". He's sitting down with these kids, and they're like tiny little chairs there, right? So you can imagine his, knees by his ears and stuff, talking to these kids, and he's looking around and saying, okay, these kids are probably, this is all they're going to eat. And it's not good enough. So back to the movement side of it, right? 400 million. We're majority owned by a foundation. We don't have shareholders. We're not beholden to anyone. We don't have stock. We don't have any of that stuff. We choose where that's going. 400 million is normally going to yachts and Lamborghinis and helicopters of all the C-suite. It's going back to the communities. And so part of the foundation, what we've done, is went out and gave seed money to minority business owners to start businesses and restaurants. And so another kind of success story is we helped these gentlemen start a restaurant, and they cater for these kids. Breakfast and lunch, 365. We're the #1 impact lender in the world. No one can even come close. It doesn't exist. So who are we? Back to what is our plan? Alvina and I want to be and will be the #1 impact loan originators in the #1 impact mortgage company in the world. We're doing that by walking into these rooms with amazing people. I mean, a year ago, she was scanning for cancer and babies. A year ago, I was just kind of going along and doing well, but I've always had this thing inside of me that was calling out that I needed to do more. And so I feel like I'm in that place now with the right company. When we talk about collaboration as a new currency, we have to find a way to spend that currency, right? And the only way, in my opinion, to do that is taking action. What Movement's doing is taking action. We're spending that collaboration, these ideas. And what Stacy's doing, what Tom's doing is taking action. Action, action, action. We have this industry, I look at this and I analyze stuff probably too much, but I look at this and it's the only industry that I know that actually has, everyone is marketing constantly. Everyone has a voice, social media, everything. It's out there. It's in our face. Real estate, mortgage. You look at Facebook, for example. You don't see that with car sales guys. You don't see that with computer sales guys. You don't really see that. You have a platform. There's 1.4 million real estate agents in this world, and they're all trying to do the exact same thing: sell and help someone buy a home or sell a home. You have a platform that you can actually do something that's different. That's what we're choosing to do. That's what Movement has chosen to do. Action. Wrap it up here really quick, but this is something that I want you guys to think about when you're taking action. Everyone's probably heard that ultimate question, like if you were in front of God and you had the ability to ask God a question, I would say 99.99% of people are always going to ask him why. I was one of those people. Why? Why me? Why her? Why did they have to go? Why is all this pain, right? And I've gone through it, and I'm not going to get into that aspect of it here, but for the longest time, I've always asked why. At some point, I started to ask how. God, how can I help? How can I help you? Then I started to ask, God, who can I help? As soon as I started asking who, I start coming into these rooms. I meet people like Tom and Stacy and dozens of others of people that have had a massive impact on my life and are going to have a massive impact on the communities that we serve. So I ask you guys, how, who, and what's your plan? Thank you.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you, Rob. That was awesome.